All right, it is the Hot Morning Show with Becca and Mike D. And this is so exciting because she is a hometown girl hailing from Seekonk, which I do call Rhode Island Light, by the way. She is comedian, actress, Alyssa Limperis. Alyssa, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Come
We're so
on. Thank you
excited.
so much for having me. And thank you for acknowledging that because everyone says Massachusetts. They go, oh, the Cape. No, no, no. I'm right by Rhode Island. I can touch Rhode Island.
You really can.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like anytime I traveled or like you go anywhere else in the country, nobody knows where Rhode Island is. So like it's just easier to say, hey, it's basically Providence. It's like, what is that? Is that Long Island, New York? I don't know what that is. So
And it's like, well, we have the same accent, but it's not that. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know
it,
what's funny you say that, Alyssa? Nobody does the differentiate, whatever you want to call it, the difference of the accents better than you do.
Oh, come
Especially in
on.
the special that we're going to be talking about, because being from Cranston, I know I can detect the Rhode Island accent very well, and it is slightly different than a Boston
Thank you. And
accent.
it's funny you say that because my mom is from Cranston. So you're detecting not just Rhode Island, but you are detecting a Cranston, Rhode Island accent. There you go.
Cranston radar. It all goes back to that. So
Yes.
we are going to talk about No Bad Days, of course, but
Yes.
man, following your trajectory, and I can't believe I just nailed that word on the first try, career,
wow.
it's
How many
really
syllables
it's
is that?
crazy because it was one of your viral videos. Maybe it was one of the mom
Yeah.
videos or the We Love Tom Brady videos, one of those. And Mike's, and I'm on Twitter. I'm like, wow, this girl is so funny. She's hilarious. My friends and I in group chat sharing the video, and Mike's like, she's from Seekonk, right? And I know her, and I'm thinking, Mike, what are we talking about here? You know her? What? So it's amazing to see where and how quickly things have gone. So speak on that, please.
No, I mean, I feel, yeah, well, first of all, thank you. That's so nice. And it has been, yeah, it started, it's just sort of, I don't know. I mean, I guess it feels quick, but it's been a while. I've been doing this for about, I graduated college and then more or less started doing comedy, and it's just taken different forms. And so it started with those videos. I did those for a while. And then, yeah, I started working more in TV and film and commercials. And then eventually it led to this special at Peacock. But also, I've been doing live comedy for a while and this show for a while. And I did this show in Providence. So I feel like a lot of people, even from Rhode Island, have seen a really early version of this show at the Providence Fringe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to get into that. You mentioned versions because I know
Yeah.
this special has kind of evolved over the years. And I want to get into that a little bit. But going back to kind of like the beginning of comedy for you, it's interesting because like I feel like you kind of rose into like getting into the comedy scene, stand up and all that around the same time that like viral videos and Vine
Yeah.
and TikTok kind of became a thing. Did you ever imagine when you first got into it that like these skits and these characters that you were playing was going to kind of just evolve into this super viral like phenomenon?
Wow, that's a great point because it's true. Like when I started doing these, I remember you couldn't even post videos on Twitter. It was like Twitter was still just tweets and Instagram was still just photos. So I sound back in my day for
Yeah.
you listening
No.
kids, you couldn't even put a video on Twitter. Yeah. No, but yeah. I don't know. I don't think I ever would have thought that, but also for me, I always just felt very lucky to be able to have the internet because for a while I didn't have representation and I didn't have a way of acting. And I was always, for me, those videos were like, oh, this is so great because I get to still do this thing, even though I don't have, like, I get to be able to make art and create stuff on my own, which always felt very freeing and liberating.
No, the special No Bad Days, which is available now on Peacock. So if you don't have Peacock, sign up for Peacock.
Yes.
But it's it's hard to, because I know that we're considering it a comedy special, but it's hard to put it in that box.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that, and it's so deeply personal. It's almost like it's a one-woman show. It's
Yes.
It's very audience involved as well. Where did the concept, obviously it's deeply personal, like I said, where did the concept come from?
Yes. So yeah, I consider it a solo show as well. That's what I've always sort of thought of it as. I basically was doing stand up for a while. Then my dad got sick and I moved home to Seekonk to be with him. And then I was in Seekonk for a year as he passed away. And then basically I wasn't really able to do comedy that whole year. I was kind of cut off from my friends, and I was so grateful to be with my dad, but also it was so painful and visceral that when I got back to trajectory visceral, look at us. Look at us with the big words.
This is unbelievable. I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Come on, Mike. You're next.
God, I'm really having to rack my brain here.
But yeah, basically I got back to New York and I was like, I have to talk about this. But like you said, comedy, stand-up didn't feel exactly like the right place to do it. So I was like, I want to make it into a bit more of like a theatrical show so that I can talk about something that's dark and that people who are coming to it are expecting that versus just expecting a comedy show. Because if they're expecting a comedy show and then I'm like doing this, they're like, wait a minute, hold on. I thought we were laughing. Yeah. So that's where it started. And then over the years, as I grew, as my experience with grief grew, as my relationship with my past father grew, it just kept changing and evolving.
Well, that's interesting because like, you know, you always hear about comedy and comics, and sometimes like their way of expressing every emotion is through laughter, right? And, you know, you being a comic, there was so many parts of that special that were just like honest and like, yeah, you would eventually crack a joke and kind of break up the tension a little bit. But like, I feel like you went to a level of like honesty and emotion that you don't always see, even when comics are speaking about deep things like that. So how do you channel that?
Thanks. Yeah, I think that it was always, I'm really like emo. I'm an actress, I'm a writer. So for me, like comedy is one thing that I do. But this show was always like trying to blend maybe all different aspects of myself. So when it was funny, I wanted it to be funny, but when it was real, I was okay with just sitting with it being real for a second and not immediately creating a joke. So instead of it almost all merging in the middle, I wanted it to live on opposite coasts and float in between the two. So it's like, I want people to be laughing and then I want to be serious. And then, so that was kind of, you know, I started when I was home writing blogs, about the experience that were not funny at all, that were just serious.
Yeah.
And this was almost in a way blending those two things, comedy and then also just these serious blogs and this serious experience. Because it is so heavy that it's like to not give some weight to the heaviness would feel also not earnest to me or not real to me. Yeah.
And you're also on a Showtime show.
Yes. I'm on a Showtime show called Flatbush Misdemeanors. I play Sydney. It's in its second season and the season premiere is this week. That's been a joy. I love that show so much and that character so much. Yeah. Things are getting crazy too. If you're watching, things just got crazy last week. So, yeah, it's an exciting time in the show.
And I've been seeing you share that on
you too.
Pardon?
It's an exciting time for you too.
Come on. Thank you, Micah.
It absolutely is. And yeah, I've been seeing you share that on Twitter. I'm going to have to check it out because it does look good. And it's like gotten into like crazy, like good reviews too. Like this is something it's going really well.
Totally. They're incredible. Yeah. Dan Perlman, Kevin Iso, writers, creators, and they're just like really, really funny. And yeah, it's a great show.
Now, do you feel now that No Bad Days, you know, you talk about kind of how your dad processed his days, you know, all the way right to the end. And as things continue to get worse, you know, he was still like, I mean, when we were watching this, it's like, it's almost impossible to not just feel like this overwhelming amount of like sadness, but also like power. Like, I don't even know how to explain it.
Totally.
Like, you know, the bit where you're running, you're jogging and like, that's such a powerful, I can't even put into words, like the visual is so huge. And when people have the capability of writing that, but to be able to do that, act it out, relive it, because you can feel like, I know you held together for the special, but what was that truly feeling like when you're there? You know, you're filming this massive special for a huge network streaming service. Like, what was that feeling like up there?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I was certainly nervous. I was certainly aware of the pressure and knowing there are a lot of cameras here. That's different. But I felt with this show more than anything in the world, always like it's just me and my dad up there. And I really, really felt that because before this I would do comedy and like, if it works or doesn't, that's what I was focused on. Did it work? This, I never focused on like, does it work or not? When I was on stage, I was just like, I'm up here with my dad telling the true story. And then I'm here with the audience. So I kept just focusing on yes, there are cameras, but you're here with your dad and you're here with the audience, and that's all you gotta focus on. And I'd luckily been on the road and done this show so much that it did feel in my bones. Did you guys play sports in high school?
Oh yeah.
What'd you play?
I was a soccer player.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Becca, did you play any sports?
I twirled a flag.
Come on.
Flag twirl. Oh yeah.
Not to brag, like dance team flag twirling. So that was my.
Wow,
sport.
that is.
I'm not even going to put it in quotes because I don't want to say sport. I'm just going to say that was my sport.
That was a sport. That is a damn sport. Yeah, but in track, I ran track at LaSalle. Go Rams. Coach Wright was amazing.
Go Bakery. Such a good bakery over there.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the best. Yes. And our Coach Wright was always big on like everything we do, obviously like training is because there's no nerves in training. And then you do all that so it's in your body. So when the nerves come, your body just kind of does it. So I think that's how I felt with this too, was like, even though I was so, nervous and aware, I was like, my body knew what to do because it had done it so many times.
Yeah. And of course, being on camera and already having so much experience with that, I'm sure definitely eased into it.
So true. If I had done this like 4 years ago, I think it would have been a scarier situation. Yeah.
Right. Which is natural.
Totally. Growth.
And
yes.
One perspective that, obviously is super important. It's obviously, the very important person in your life is your mom. Like what's been your mom's experience with the special and kind of watching it grow and seeing to, what it is now?
Yeah. So my mom, she's been to so many of the shows. I think for her, it's been also, I think she's probably had a similar journey with it, and like letting go of it for her will also be intense in the way it is for me. Cause I think she's followed the show. The show has been this almost way that we were able to, work through this really
like therapeutic in a way.
Yeah, I think so. I think for her as well. And she would come and be there, and so I feel very grateful that she's such a good sport, obviously with the mom videos and stuff too. So I feel, I feel, really lucky that my family has allowed me to talk about them and do comedy about them.
Also, you mentioned you went to LaSalle, and so I have to know, Alyssa, when you do come home to Peacock, what is on your I have to do this bucket list? Like when you're here, you have to do XYZ, you have to go to XYZ.
Yes. I have to see Kayla, who's one of my closest friends from growing up. I go to Seven Stars every morning in Rumford. My godfather owns Eats, so I go to Eats.
Yes, from us. We frequent that place.
Oh no way! You got to tell him. Tell him that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I go visit him.
That's so funny.
And then, the new one is not new, but like in recent years now, I go to Wildflower and I get some green juice at Wildflower. And then I go to Caratunk in the woods, go for a little hike, and then hang with my mom. And that's it.
That's a run right there. That's like, you hit a lot of staples there.
So yes.
It is. You do a lot when you come home. And I did love the shout out to Rhode Island in the special.
Oh, thank you.
I don't want to give it away, but you do touch on Rhode Island. There's a very funny mention of when you did a show in Rhode Island and who came up to you after the show, which I loved. And I think
that's my favorite part too. Yeah,
it is so good. And I'm really, really excited for people to see this special because I think it's really magnificent and so unique. There's nothing really like it out there right now. And
thanks.
I think it's so cool because it stands out from, really, there are a lot of comedy specials. You know that. That's not news. But this stands out in such a way. And the fact that it's on Peacock, and again, we don't have to, this is off the record or whatever, it makes me think that, is there a future on some particular sketch show that's also on NBC?
Oh, boy. Manifestation right there.
Yes.
I'm gonna connect the dots.
I love NBC and I love Peacock. That's all I'll say. I love them and I love working with them. So I would happily do more of that. Yeah.
Well, if you ever need like, a party of people to put it out there, a manifestation for future endeavors, potentially a sketch show on that network, then, you might know a couple of people that can help.
Mike,
out.
how long have I been saying this about Alyssa?
She's been saying, this is not because we're speaking to you. She's been saying this since probably the first video you had about your mom.
Oh, thanks.
So, and we've been in agreement in that. And to touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
I know that they say imitation is the best form of flattery. there's a lot of Alyssa Limperis wannabes on TikTok out there. So, I know you probably won't say it, but I'll say it for you. I see those videos and I don't know.
That sounds like my mom. I don't know about that. I see the videos. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, but it's okay. It's okay. Now, and there's been plenty of amazing people before me who've done similar things. So I like to see it as just, we pass the torch, we all do it. And I do feel I don't have any, I'm like, good. If you're doing something that's honest to you and it's making people laugh, then that's great. That's
great. And that's the expected answer from you, but I'll say it for you. I got no problem. That's why you're a better person than I am. Cause I was like, who's this person? What? I know everybody's got a mom, but you're doing like almost the same exact imitation here. Like, come on.
I know. I've seen them.
That's great though. But it does honestly, like, because some of those videos have kind of taken off in these characters you play. Do you, and I know we can wrap up here shortly, but do you prefer like writing sketches? Like I know you've worked with Conan.
Yep.
And do you prefer like kind of writing sketches, or like do you being behind the scenes, or do you like kind of being your own character, writing your own stuff and acting it out?
Yeah, I like writing my own stuff and acting it out. That's my favorite thing, is writing and performing it. So that's sort of where I feel I've found most of my groove, is whether it's on a character scale or a show scale, or, I have movies that I've written and TV shows. So it's kind of like, that's where I like to live, which is being able to write from my own experience and also write something that I feel I would have a fun time playing. Yeah.
That's great. And, but now this is out. No Bad Days on Peacock.
You must be so relieved.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, lead up to this.
Anticipation.
Build. Anticipation is the word I was looking for, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it is weird though, because it's sometimes with stuff, yes. With this, it is so personal that it's almost like now I'm like, it was always just a thing, which I talk about in the show, that was mine and that I carried with me. So it's almost an adjustment to have it be out there and no longer just with me, and truly moving forward to the next thing. So it's bittersweet. I'd say it's wonderful that it's out. And also I'm like, okay, yeah, I am saying goodbye to it and the experience of performing it. Yeah. But again,
but it lives forever,
it lives forever. It lives forever. And yeah, and I don't have to fly as much. I don't have to stay in hotels, and you can just turn on your TV. So that's nice.
That is nice. And it'll pop up randomly, I'm sure, with people finding it in a month from now, and you'll get reminded of it. And that's what's really cool about the streaming world. That's so true. Yeah. Totally. So what's next? Anything planned for the rest of the year? You're going to kind of let this ride out, or what do we have going on?
Let this ride out. What do you think? No, let this ride. I know. I'm like, the day it's out, I'm like, all right, let's get started. We got to keep going.
I love it. That's good.
No, but, I am trying to, I have been, working hard. So I am trying to take a little breather as this comes out, but no, I wrote a movie with my friend, May Wilkerson, that we're taking out, and we're working on a TV show, with a production company. So just, working on the next thing. And I think it will not be about a member of my family.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I think I'm going to give my family a rest.
They're like, oh my God, thank God. We can't do this
all my cousins are freaking out. Like, is it going to be me? Yeah.
Who's next?
Am I next?
Who's next?
They're thinking back to all the traumatic experiences, and they're like, wait, was she a part of this? And they're like, oh, okay, we're going to cross that one off. Moving on.
Everyone's being very nice to me and my family.
Yeah. I can imagine.
No.
That's amazing.
Alyssa, this is such a delight. The Hot Morning Show is such a fan of yours, and we're so happy for you. No Bad Days is a special out on Peacock. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.